The Volvo EC460CLD is a demolition excavator in the 45 to 48 tonne weight range. This review of the NZG model looks at two versions. 812 is in Volvo colours and 81201 is in the colours of Boverhof, a Dutch demolition and recycling company. The packaging for both models is the same. They come in a Volvo branded box, and when you pull the model out it's contained between two plastic formers. As is often the case, there's no information on the box about the real machine, such as specification information, which would be interesting. And there's no information about the model either, although it is fully assembled in the box, so there's no assembly to do. With the two plastic formers separated, you can just carefully lift out the model. One nice addition in the box, hidden in a tray, is a small bag of spare parts, including track links and some beacon lights. After removing the packaging, the only other thing to do is to take the elastic bands that hold the tracks on, and that's because the track links are only hooked together rather than pinned. Looking underneath, there's some good detailing on the body, including the counterweight attachment mechanism. The metal tracks are very good, and the track frames have plenty of detail, such as the stepping positions. The detailing of the cab is good, with slightly tinted windows and good interior detail, and as it's a demolition machine there's falling object protection to the top and front. Compared to the standard excavator model, this version also has an access platform outside the cab and side impact protection. Detailing on the side is good, with grills, panel door handles and metal grab rails, and the Boverhof graphics are sharp. At the back the counterweight is cast well, and there's a rear view mirror on the top of the counterweight. The good standard of detailing continues around the other side of the body, and the Boverhof name appears large in that unusual font style. Looking down on top you can see the counterweight attachment mechanism modelled, and there's some very good hydraulics detailed at the boom foot. The heavy nature of the protection required by a demolition machine can also be seen at the front, where there's a big plate covering the front boom cylinders. Detailing on the boom and stick is very good, with some fine gauge hydraulic hoses and some very small warning graphics. On the stick there's another heavy protection plate covering the cylinder, and at the end of the stick the tool appears to be a hand wheel crusher and is all fully detailed in metal. It's a big tool, and it also doubles up for use as ear defenders. The version of the model in Volvo colours is exactly the same in terms of detail and features, and the colour scheme accurately reflects Volvo's corporate branding. So now it's features time, and we'll test out the tracks first, and there's too much stiffness for them to roll on a smooth surface. You can roll them by hand, but they are quite tight. The tension's maintained by a spring in the track frames, but one of the very good features is that it does have working rollers on the underside of the track frames. One thing to remember about the track links is that they are just hooked together, so if they do separate you'll have lots of separate track links to put back together. If we give the tracks a test on a rougher surface, then by applying some pressure they can be made to roll, but they're not really free rolling. In terms of rotation, the body turns well without any hint of rocking in the mechanism, and it's fairly stiff so it doesn't flap about. The movement on the boom and stick is very good. The cylinders are stiff, so any pose can be set without cylinder bleed happening, and it can be set to reach out far or fold up small for a low loader, and it also reaches up reasonably high. At the end of the stick the tool functionality is very good. It's got a full degree of rotation, and each of the jaws can be opened and closed independently, and they're just stiff enough so that they could actually grip something if you wanted them to. One good thing that's been implemented well is the range of movement of the tool at the end of the stick. It can reach an angle of about 90 degrees in the downward direction, and pointing upwards it can reach about 45 degrees. So it's possible to pose the model realistically. The other feature the model has is an opening engine cover, and when you lift the lid on that it stays up, and inside you can see a reasonably detailed engine with the Volvo name printed on it, and the cover snaps tightly shut. This is a very good demolition model by NZG with lots of detail, and the features work very well too. It looks very good posed with other models in a mini demolition diorama, and overall it's highly recommended.